is alright. What people value, what they're willing to sacrifice, and what they call home changes from suburb to suburb and city to city. Today we're leaving Melbourne to explore Potts Point, one of Sydney's most iconic inner city neighbourhoods. Just 2 kilometres from the CBD, more than 7,000 people call this place home. My question is, how does where we live shape the way we live? Alright, just landed in Sydney. Had to catch a train out to Potts Point, one of the suburbs that I really wanted to get to from the start, to be honest. Sydney in general is pretty much exactly what we're looking for. It's pretty cool, they've got a train line in the airport, which I didn't even realise, which we don't have in Melbourne. I haven't caught a train, I reckon since I was, honestly I reckon I was 15. King's Cross. $23.50. Catch a food. Potts Point's probably one of the suburbs that I've really been looking forward to going to. It's heaps of architecture, heaps of old apartments, terraces, 1-bedroom terraces averaging $800,000. We've got a couple of really cool old places to see, so let's get it. Right, I need to get onto another train to head to King's Cross. I have absolutely no idea where I'm going. Bro, Sydney, I reckon Sydney's way better than Melbourne. Like, Sydney's hectic now. It's full on, but it's like, everything is just, I feel like it's on a whole nother level. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped to just see the differences from Melbourne to all these other suburbs around the world. And I thought, what better place to start than in Sydney? Everyone's always talking about the Sydney market versus the Melbourne market, and it's so expensive and all this stuff. So like, I just want to kind of get an idea of firsthand of what it's like. I really want to know what that does to renovating. Like, let's say, how does that impact the actual cost of renovating if the cost of living is so much higher? Another job site. They're doing all 3. Another one. Already can tell you that there's heaps of renos. I've already walked past like 4 construction sites. I love function. Number one, I love functionality. Like, I like things that work. I don't just like things that look good. And then second of all, I love the idea of how small living, the impact that small living actually has on your life, in my opinion, is that you get out more. So the less space you have, the more it pushes you out of your house. The more space you have, the more you tend to stay in your house. I don't know if that's the same house or a different house. Development proposal. Alterations and additions to the existing residential development. The City of Sydney has received the above application. Heritage List, they're doing works on it. Like everywhere, like that's heaps. Like I've seen like 6 just in this street. You are completely controlled by your environment. If you grow up in Australia, where there's, builders and renovators, and like we're looked at as, like I think probably the average wage for a tradesman or a tradesperson is probably higher. It's probably higher than a doctor today, I'd say. If you're on site, you're probably making more than a doctor. So let me have a look at that. I'm going to search that up. Who makes more money? So if you haven't worked out, I'm addicted to ChatGPT. Chat, can you please tell me who makes more money in Victoria in 2026? A doctor or tradespeople?
In Victoria in 2026, a typical full-time doctor earns around $300,000 per year.
Oh shit. That's wrong. Okay, my bad. Yeah, latte. In the future, I want to be a painter. Haram. These kids aren't buying a house in Potts Point with that type of spelling, mate. Get out. Western suburbs, mate. Back to the western suburbs. Heaps of homeless, man. What was that bloke doing? Here we go. It's pretty cool. That's where I'm going. Alright, we're going out. I'm gonna throw my coffee out and go there.
One in the back corner.
Thanks, bro. This is cool. I like this drink. So, still not Melbourne spec, but this coffee's not as good. The other one was just as good, which I threw away. I went through a phase where I stopped drinking coffee like maybe 2 or 3 months ago. And it helped a lot because I was over drinking and I think it was giving me like anxiety. I was drinking like a lot of double shot like coffees and like then I just started drinking decaf and I didn't think I'd ever need to drink coffee again. But I thought, I felt like a loser. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to just be able to go out of the round tank. So I'm back on the coffee wagon, coffee number 2.
No, it's okay. You can put me, I don't mind.
I can put you?
I don't care.
Okay, good.
You know?
Thanks, brother.
Make me look handsome there.
Oh, it's easy. Easy to make you look handsome.
You know, but don't change my face into Tom Cruise, huh? You know?
Busy, man. It's good.
It's good. Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, brother. Really nice. Thank you. We're good. We're rolling. So now we're heading to the Elizabeth Bay House. Habsas. Guys sleeping on the park bench. So I'm seeing a lot of that here. A lot. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, so like as an example, renovating an apartment in general is completely different to a house. Like it's so different that I would almost say you can't, like going to a builder is not good enough. Like you need to have someone that understands the issues and stuff like that, especially if it's not, we're not talking about like building an apartment, we're talking about buying and renovating an apartment. So there's as an example, I've renovated for those of you from Melbourne or those of you who've been in Melbourne, I've renovated multiple apartments on Collins Street. So Collins Street means there's no parking, absolutely no parking. If it is, it's like 1 hour. There's no like the elevators, like you need to book a goods lift. You need to ensure you allow for the height of the goods lift when you're bringing in floorboards, timber and stuff like that. When you're demolishing, dust, fire alarms, smoke alarms, making sure that you get them isolated from the body corporate before you commence. You've got heaps of common areas, so from the lift to the apartment, it might be a 3-minute walk. All those floors need to be covered and prepped so that you can demo. And then it comes down to like the actual layout. Like, yes, you can make it look nice, but you need to allow for linen cupboards. You need to allow for functional space. Like, so there's a lot to it, and like I think it gives you a sample size of everything when you build in those spaces. Like you need to really understand your services and all trades. You have to have a good understanding of all trades. As a builder, yes, you expect everyone to have a good understanding of all trades, but you're often just saying to the plumber, follow the plans. So you're not really like guiding them on what you need done. So yeah, there's a lot to the whole small space thing that I find it makes it interesting. But commercially, the reason why I got into them was it was just like out of opportunity. I wasn't sure how, as an electrician, I was going to be able to convince people that I was a specialist builder. Not this way, that way. How I was going to convince people that I was a specialist builder. And I felt like I needed to have a niche. So the niche that presented itself, I was looking for, was an opportunity to renovate a couple of apartments. And to be honest, South Yarra, where I renovated, is a lot like where we are right now. Like, so now Oh, that's so nice. Look at that. Now I'm starting to understand. Maybe I was closer to like the cross down that side, but this is starting to look a lot more like what I was thinking. Here we are. Elizabeth House. Geez, look at that. See the bay right there. Alright, let's go in, have a suss.
He was building this house here, ended up going bankrupt actually
Right.
building it because he'd spent so much money on the gardens and all the insects.
Yeah.
So then his son came through, basically ended up making sure that this place got built because he obviously had very grand tastes. You know?
Was that the flooring?
Yes, this is the original.
So
flooring.
it was a concrete. It was just a
It's
concrete
actually
floor.
a mudstone flooring.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Fun. Thanks so
Enjoy.
much. Thank you. You can smell the old, like the timber. She said that he was gifted land, and it was the whole of the King's Cross almost. So this was the house, but he had all that. Crazy. Someone give me some land, bro. Just the difference in the way that they did things back in the day. We're talking about functionality and like space maximization. These guys had, like, this is I don't know what this is. It's just an extra room. Just the timber work and like the cornices, and it's full on. Bro, it's like 500. It's probably half a meter. It's literally the size of my house. Now it's surrounded by apartments. It's crazy when you see that, like just the amount of development that's going on. Ooh, the cellar. What about the cellar? Let's have a Shirley and Lisa and Robinson. You know Anne Robinson? Watch that video. Fuck, this is mad. Bro, this is unreal. It's crazy to imagine people walking around here in the 1800s. What were you doing, bro? When was electricity invented? Like, when would this house have had electricity? Electric power and lighting would have been added much later, probably in the late 1800s, early 1900s. There you go. So originally this, like, they would have had to like chase stuff and whatever to even add electricity in here. Like, there would have been heaps of work to actually do that, but this would have all been lit by oil lamps. Bro, what is this? This looks like where he watched the Pies. This is where he would have sat down and watched the Collingwood Football Club. Look, TV, Sonos, couch. Look how they're like propped. They're just like nailed in on the side. Look at their packers. Can you see the packers? They're just pieces of timber. Yeah, so all of this land was that family's at one point, and then they've subdivided it into all this stuff. Like all the gardens, all this, and like it was all theirs, and then it looks over the bay. So a lot of these properties that we're looking at, these apartments and stuff, they've got bay views, so it makes a big difference as well. And look at that, look at the view they have. It's unreal. Let's go in there. This type of building is like exactly what I'd be talking about. Solid double brick. Look at that. So all of these and all of these have got that view. Even visually, look at this entry. Look at that. Sick. See if we can get down to the bay. Might be able to get through here. Relax, blue Porsche, man. Relax. back entrance job. We're in. Wow. These are apartments on this bay, on this pier, jetty, whatever you call it. Have a look. What the fuck are you, man? What the fuck are you? And then look at the apartments. Look how old they are. And then look at their views and stuff. Like, imagine renovating them. God knows what they're worth. I think that's the thing as well that you got to think about is when they're so old, the restrictions on building and stuff back then were so different. Like today, you probably couldn't even get away with doing this. Like, look at, it's probably a flood zone, really. Look at that. It's like, it's on the same level as the water. 8 Billiard Avenue, Elizabeth Bay. Sold. Oh my God. Unit 17 of 8 to 10 Billiard Avenue, which is a 3-bed, 2-bath apartment. Sold in May 2025 for 6.45 million. That apartment, one of the apartments and they're not even on the ground, on the high level, 6.45 million. Wow. Wow, cuz. Unit 7. 3-bed, 2-bath, unit 7. Like, these don't look nice internally, yeah, like at all. They're like run-of-the-mill basic. 2-car spots. It's got 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and the balcony with the views. Sold December 2023, $6.4 million. Gee whiz, mate. So that tells you, like, wow, who's living there? Who's paying $6.4 million for an ugly apartment like that? Dying. I need to take my jumper off. This vest off. It's fucking hot here, man. Sydney, proper weather. Look at that. Oh yeah. That's sick. They've got, look, at the buckets and the rope. It goes all the way up. And it goes up there, so they're doing something to this building on the roof. So we're heading back towards the centre of Potts Point. But I want to just have a seat and just go through realestate.com. Now that I kind of have my bearings, I want to kind of have a look at some of the numbers around rent and stuff. I just want to have a look on the rental market and type in Elizabeth Bay, Potts Point. The geezer. 2-bed, 1-bath apartment, ugly, $1,000 a week. 2-bed, 2-bath apartment. It's like double story, 2-bed, 2-bath, $2,200 a week. This one's got full bay views, 82 to 94 Darlinghurst Road, 27C, 2-bed, 2-bath, $2,650 a week. Gee whiz. Hey chat, if I have an apartment that's worth $10.5 million and I'm renting it out for $5,500 a week, what's my rental yield?
To figure out the rental yield, you compare the annual rent to the property's value. First, you'll multiply the weekly rent by 52 weeks. So 5,000 times 52 is $286K per year. Then you divide that annual rent by the property value of $10.5 million, which gives you about 0.027. Multiply that by 100 to get a percentage, and your rental yield is roughly 2.72%.
2.72%. Fantastic. What are your thoughts, chat? You reckon that's a good investment?
Well, a rental yield of around 2.7 is on the lower side, which is pretty common in high-value markets. It doesn't mean it's bad. Some investors bank on capital growth. But if you're looking for strong cash flow, you might want to see if the property is likely to appreciate or if you can improve the rental return over time.
Okay, so on the 13th of March 2024, on 183 square meters, a terrace in Elizabeth Bay with 4-bed, 3-bath. It's quite nice, not renovated, but Whoa, look at that. Okay, look at that. Like, that's pretty cool, yeah? Sold 7.250. So you get the bay views of that apartment, 3-bed, 3-bath apartment for 10 mil, or you get that 4-bed, 3-bath, 2-car, 183 square meters, beautiful terrace home for 7.250. I think I'm going the terrace. So then if I go Elizabeth Bay and I go apartment and I go sold in the last 6 months, 1 bedroom, and see if I can find something renovated. Okay, so Elizabeth Avenue, Billiard, 19 to 21, that's roughly where the other one was, with bay views, sold for 1 million. Renovated, kind of. So maybe there is opportunities to renovate. It might just be scarce in trying to buy them. 955, 1 bed, 1 bath, Rosslyn Gardens. Again on Rosslyn Gardens, 1 bed, 1 bath, 47 square meters, tidy, 955. So 722 to 955. So I think what people are actually paying for is just, it's pure location here. It's pure location. Location, views, proximity to the water, all that type of stuff. That's what they're paying for. Like, it is stunning though. Sick spot. So, I don't know if I'm in Potts Point. No, so that way is Potts. Look at this though, there's construction everywhere. I'm really looking forward to meeting this agent now and going into a unit and actually asking him about the area because sick. It's weird, like don't get me wrong, I find it a little bit weird. I'm walking around a suburb and I'm like breaking it down. I don't think I've even done this in Melbourne before, but I'm really interested. I'm glad I did it because I just flipped the bottle with the lid open. I'm glad I did it because like, I'm still trying to understand how that apartments in that building that I just snuck into were $10 million. Like, that's crazy, man. That's crazy talk. I don't care how much money you got. I don't know why you're buying that. As soon as I walk into Potts Point again, this road, wherever we are, is cooked. Like, just, like in general, it's just cooked. You can just tell. You just get a vibe straight away that there's heaps of, like even like heaps of like laundromats, and you look in the laundromats and there's just people that look off their dial. It's just like, you just notice an instant decline in the like types of people that are walking around. That building's boarded up. There's a property here for sale. Just want to scan the QR code. So it's a terrace. Five-bed, 4-bath, 2-car. '98 Victoria Street, Potts Point, 5-bed, 4-bath, 2-car, sold. Auctioned for $6.5 million. It's crazy. That's like the average then here. Everything's $6.5 million. If you want 3+ beds, it's like $5 million plus. So, market here is out of control. Can't help but wonder if all these staircases and stuff were all, again, like what we were saying before, part of that Elizabeth Bay house's land at one point. Well, this was all their land, so maybe this is all part of their gardens. So many of these cool stairwells. Alright, I feel like now I'm in Housos. Yeah. So now I'm walking to the old Anyos's Hood, Booramaloo. Not for me. I'll go back. But you can see straight away it changes. But yeah, look at these staircases. The other thing to consider as well in these older apartments is, because it's so hard, you have limitations on what you can and can't do. Like you can't just go moving sewer points and making all these alterations. You can't in apartments anyway, but specifically in these double brick style old apartment blocks, you're extremely limited on what you can and can't do. So there's a whole bunch of logistical issues across getting things from A to B and so on. So yeah, I'm not surprised. But even here, like all these apartment blocks are all getting resto works. So unless maybe because of the shift in how much money things are worth over here, it's just attracting all kinds of development and stuff like that, which would make sense. It seems like there's just money being spent everywhere here. Alright, so 6 minutes away from meeting with the real estate agent. You know what, I've got to stop calling him the real estate agent, I've got to find his name. He's nice enough to give me his time. The least I can do is know the bloke's name. Who are we dealing with? Yeah. Blair Cardall. Legend, Blair. Haven't met you, but you're a legend. Alright? Alright, so it's a 1 bed, 1 bath apartment for sale, contact agent. Pretty tidy, styled nice. Small though, jeez. I think from memory it's 800 grand asking. I'm gonna say the square meters are the house is 5, 6, we'll say 7 by 4. That's 28 square meters, 800 grand. Fuck me. That's crazy. Maybe I should give him a call. I'll give him a call.
Hello, Blair speaking.
Hey Blair, this is Jesse. I'm catching up with you. Shoot a video today. How you going?
You sure are. Yeah. Hey, we're actually here at the property now when you arrived.
Legend. Yeah, I'm making my way over now. Thanks for giving me your time anyway. But I'll see you in a bit.
Oh, of course. We're looking forward to meeting you.
Awesome. All right, man. I'll see you in a sec.
Cheers, Jesse.
See you,
Catch
mate.
up
Ciao.
there.
Bye. Legend. Legend. Actually, getting dressed this morning was a struggle because I wanted to look professional, but then I realized that I'm probably doing 20,000 steps today. So I was on the fence with what I should or shouldn't wear, which is an everyday occurrence for me. But yeah, I've gone with the Eshe vibe. I've got the crossbody on. Couldn't find my work bag this morning, so I've gone with the Nike crossbody, which is alright. But yeah, it's been good. Like I've really enjoyed this. This is awesome. I think this is definitely it's definitely a big shift to what we're used to. That's what I'm a little bit worried about. Like I'd love to do stuff in Melbourne, but if it's not a shift and it's suburbs that we know and understand, then I'm not sure I'm going to get out of it what I'm trying to get out of it. So I'm gonna check the maps. Yeah, 20. To put in perspective, the units that the 1 bedroom units that I'm selling in Coburg, or that I've sold in Coburg, there was 6 1-bedders. The upstairs ones with balconies were 41 or more square meters, and they all sold for an average of 420, 430, 420, 425. So, well, an average of 425. So put that in perspective, half the square meters. Yes, you're essentially in the CBD, half the square meters, but they're asking 800k. So, where are we? I think this is it here. 19. Yep. Oh, look at this. Everything's so old. Looks way different already to what it would look like in Melbourne. Number 2.
That's not great. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Jesse,
Jesse,
Blair.
nice to meet you, Blair.
Pleasure.
Thank
This
you.
is Bella, my EA.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, nice to
Nice
meet
to
you.
meet you.
Thanks for having me.
8 or 10 groups through, like engagement's been pretty good. Like first week on the market, which is always a positive.
Yeah.
Because I think it just shows that you got your pricing right.
Yeah.
But yeah, people
What's
are
asking here?
550 to 6.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit more.
No, 550 to 6. Well, there's a couple others in 19A,
Yeah.
which is the adjoining sister building, and they're in the 6s.
Yeah.
They're a bit higher up. They've got some more aspect and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's affordable. This is a company title building as well, so it's
Yeah.
a little bit different. I don't
Yeah.
know if, because you guys are based in
No.
Victoria.
Yeah, Victoria.
Don't think that you guys have it there. It exists here. It predates Strata.
Right.
So it's
okay.
just a slightly different type of title.
Does that mean they're in, like they're on their houses?
No, so it means that they're actually shares. So
oh, yeah, we
you-
have that.
Oh, you do?
We do have
Yeah.
that. It's not common, but
Yeah.
yeah, you do get them. Yeah.
This side of town, like anything north of like William Street, which is like the main drag of like King's Cross and stuff,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that's pre-1950s will be company title.
Yeah,
So
okay.
these two buildings are.
Yeah.
And it just limits who can actually buy them. Not everyone's eligible to buy it.
The lending and stuff.
Correct, yeah.
Because like I noticed, I think it's only 20 something square meters.
We're about 32.
32.
So it's on the smaller side, but the layout's quite good.
So in I don't know what the bank lending's like. Where
Yeah.
we wouldn't like very hard to get lending on this in Victoria.
It is, yeah.
Same.
Yeah, 40s
Sub 40.
generally, yeah.
Yeah.
Same sort of prerequisites, unless you bring a larger deposit.
Yeah.
With this, we're talking about the added complexity of company title as well. But generally, they'll kind of lean more on one or the other. So it's like, okay, it's got to be 40 square meters or above, or if you're buying company, it's got to be X.
Yeah, gotcha.
So it's
Gotcha.
kind of different.
Yeah.
But no, I think like initial engagement's been good. Like I was happy with the turnout. This was one of our best performing opens
Yeah,
on
nice.
Saturday, which just tells me
Oh,
how
I
good
guess
we
if
are.
it's got an entry price that brings people in.
It's affordable.
Yeah, because I went from what I've been seeing walking, like I went down to Elizabeth Bay.
Yep.
And like $7-8 million apartments. I'm like,
Well, this is
crazy.
the thing.
I know.
Like Bridget emailed me the other day and just sort of said like, "Hey, what's the profile like for Potts Point?" And I said it's so broad because you got stuff like this, even or even less than this. There's stuff
Yeah.
that trades at like 300k, but then there's stuff that sells at 30 million.
yeah, it's
There's like a
mental.
big jump.
Yeah,
Huge
there's,
amount.
but there's a huge variety of things in between.
But is it like, see, so I don't know if Bridget, you kind of sussed out what we do.
Yeah.
I'm a builder developer and I run a buyer's advocacy as well. So we
Yep.
have a pretty big property kind of offering in Victoria.
Yep.
We buy blocks, renovate, sell, and like our upsell comes from like the aesthetic.
Mm.
But I think here is purely location, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
A lot of the appeal of this type of property is where it is, and
Yeah.
because I know that Bridget had said like the focus on this project was talking about like trading off size for location.
Correct.
And it's so good, like the spot that is. You walk out the front door and you're on like Leafy Tusculum Street. You're
Yeah.
one block back from Maclay,
Yeah.
and everything you need's there. Like cafes, restaurants, shopping, boutiques. Like it's all kind of happening.
But where does that, like, where's the, like, give and take? Like, if you start creeping up to, like, I think there was terraces that sold for 7 million and they're paying 7 million for views of the bay, essentially.
Well, our highest selling Potts is 14 for a terrace house,
Crazy.
which is huge money. And it was a beautiful home on Victoria Street, right over the harbour, so it had great views and everything.
Yeah.
And where do you draw the line? Look, it's case by case, right? Because you've got some people that will buy stuff like that as a trophy asset.
Hmm,
You know, the
for
guy
sure.
who bought that $14 million home was from Queensland. He came and flew down to look at it one time and bought it on the spot.
Yeah, for sure.
And he knew that he was going to buy it before he
Yeah,
came.
yeah,
And that's the thing. Whereas this type of property is a little bit more like, okay, we're considering several options,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's got a different motive, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. But nothing I've really seen matches like that architectural renovation. There's not a lot. It's more like
Yeah.
the home speaks for itself, basically.
Pretty much. And a lot of it comes back to, I think, people doing their best within reason to preserve the heritage
Yeah.
component.
Yeah.
Like this has a lot of the original details, like obviously the original kickboards and stuff.
Yeah.
Like even here,
Yeah.
we were talking about this before, like this probably at one stage was like maybe a sunroom, which is why you've got this
And
like
the glass.
the glass
What
at the
about
top, where it would have been. So
So what was this building previously?
it was always apartments.
Oh, it was always
Yeah, it was always
okay.
an apartment building. It may have been previously like a hotel of sorts.
Yeah, yeah. It has like that commercial feel.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the nature of this age, like, because
Yeah.
that's sort of the.
What era is the reckon this was?
I believe it's 1920s.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 1920s
That's
building.
old.
Yeah, solid. But that's the beauty of it. Like, people like the construction. It's more
Yeah.
solid. Like, you see a lot of new builds where people get concerned about works and issues, but old ones just have that kind of rock solid. Like,
This is what, we do, like,
yeah.
I've done probably over 100 of these types of things, like
Yeah.
solid brick homes,
Yeah, nice.
apartments. But we try to make them preserve the exterior and then make them walk in and get the creature comforts.
For sure.
But yeah, I just haven't seen, it was just interesting. I was expecting that price point to have like a refurb, and I noticed on McClay?
Yeah,
There's heaps of like permit, like notice of works, because it's all heritage listed,
Yeah,
obviously.
that's
There's
right.
heaps of work going on. It's
Correct.
just interesting to see like what they're actually spending.
See it from time to time, like more extensive works, like particularly with like internal fit outs of these apartments, but new builds are less common because the areas are.
But when they refurb, they kind of almost are refurbing, not renovating.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, good. So then what do you reckon the average, like I've seen online that it said the average for an apartment is 800,000. Would you think that's fair around this area?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
So when you say like strata tile, what on these old buildings, what are we looking at fees wise? Like if
On this-
there's nothing in here, right? As in there's no facilities.
No, well, there's a rooftop, which is actually pretty cool.
Oh,
You
yeah.
might want to check that out
Yeah,
at some
we'll do
point.
that. Yeah,
But you're looking at like the company levies on this are about $1,200 a quarter.
a quarter.
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
Yeah,
But you don't
which-
get much.
No, you just get the lift, you get access to the rooftop,
Yeah.
but that also includes your water rates. With company title, they're generally all inclusive.
Okay.
Strata separate.
So the one that I blocked it, I've just sold. I've got a couple left to sell. 10 in Coburg, which is like inner north. Our body corp rates are $1,200 for the year,
Oh wow.
but you still get nothing.
Yeah.
There's no lift. There's only stairs. But that's
Yeah.
for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But you notice when you walk into Woolloomooloo, you feel that like it's different.
so different.
But then you can also see like it's not going to last very long. Like it's getting renovated non-stop.
Yeah.
Woolloomooloo is kind of one of those suburbs that's gone through a lot of like trials and tribulations over the years, and obviously people who know the area well and who grew up here have seen it
Or watched
sort of
Spaniard.
change. Or watched Spaniard, who talks about it religiously.
That's always talking about him.
I know.
I've
Yeah,
referenced
Yeah.
Spaniard about 10 times when I
He's
look.
a
I'm
good
gonna
fella.
stop.
Well, we catch him around, to be fair.
I'm
Right?
going to move this because I can't quite. There's no-
Oh,
you know,
that's
Bring it in.
bring it in.
Bring it in. We're all here.
Oh, what is it? The hardest part is honestly, especially when you start talking, you can forget to get.
Do you want to sit? Is it easier if you do that? Like,
Yeah, we can have a seat if
Yeah.
you like.
I
I'll
might
just
grab the
try to get
trophy.
all of us in.
yeah, 100%. A lot of what we're doing at the moment is investment or ex-investment, and so in a lot of those cases, like yes, they might be relying on the funds to go and buy it, but they don't necessarily need it today, so they can kind of hold off. Like think about everything that we've got on the market, and a lot of it is investment.
Yeah.
You know, like this is ex-investment, for example.
Yeah, density, anything density is going to be heaps of
Exactly.
investment. But at the same time, I think I read 75% owner occupied in.
In Potts Point,
Potts
yeah,
Point.
that's pretty specific to Potts Point though.
Yeah,
And it's
so
funny.
if you move one suburb over, you've got a
Yeah.
completely different.
Exactly. But also, it's very insular, like Potts Point community, like it's funny. You cross over William Street and it's so different little world, but there are people who live here, own here, and own multiple properties here as well.
Yeah, I think Melbourne in general is different because we don't look at like we don't have this I don't feel like we have this unachievable property market. I think
Yeah.
I think when I say that, there'll be people in the Melbourne property market that are watching that will say, "Oh, that's that's not fair." But when I look at what's going on in Sydney, I can see
In comparison,
I know.
absolutely.
I
yeah,
know.
and I can understand like when I see $800,000 or $700,000 for a one bedroom, I'm like, okay, I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But then, so when I start to think the whole purpose of pushing investors out and creating these opportunities, like, is it going to create an opportunity if there's $700,000 anyway?
The irony is that I think when you look at the inner city marketplace, not just Potts, but the broader inner city, like our hold times are very short on average. Like I've sold for the same client 3 times in 5 years. Like,
Really?
You see that a
Why
lot.
would you say that?
Just change of circumstances. I think people, it's very idolized to live in the inner city, and there are certain people who like this is their lifestyle. They want this, and there's certain people who kind of envision and go, "This sounds like me."
Yeah, maybe.
Do it for a while and then move out.
yeah.
You know, like even one at the moment that I'm selling in Darlinghurst, like she bought it off me a year ago. She's just bought something bigger in a suburb, maybe 2 or 3 k's away. But I sold it, a year prior to that to another person who had lived there for about a year, and then I sold it a year prior to that
The
to
same-
someone else.
same property.
Same property. This is at the same time.
So let's just say I bought a $5 million terrace, $6 million terrace was run down,
Yep.
and I'm going to restore it, make it beautiful, and put it on the market. Who, like when I'm renovating, I'm always thinking, all right, who's my buyer? What are they looking for? What do they want? Who is that? Who do you think that person is? Like, are they doctors?
That family, or probably someone who's moving from like the deeper eastern suburbs into the inner city. Because the way Sydney obviously works is like obviously the further east you get, the closer you are to the water. It's a different vibe. And we often find people who maybe sell on like Paddington or the surrounding suburbs, and they've got big houses there, and they go, look, we want to be closer to the city, and so we'll move to Surrey Hills and buy a terrace on Burke Street for $6 million. We look at like a couple of the record prices set in Surrey Hills for terrace homes, like Burke Street circa 12.5, Rainford Street circa 18 from memory. Like
It's crazy.
big prices, beautiful homes, but and like for example, Raymond Street is a guy who runs like a really big business, an international business.
Yeah.
But again, these are people who just want to be in the action. We see it's what we call buyer migration, right? Like generally a buyer will start at the northernmost point, like Potts Point, Lizzie Bay, and they'll sort of want to try and buy here, but what they want to get, they can't afford. And so they'll come to the next suburb, Darlow, and then they might
just kind of
they just keep moving down the line.
plot around until they get
until they figure something
So
out.
like if let's say I'm in Potts, what is the main thing? Like I noticed, like I don't know, I don't know. You both might argue with me on this. Hospo in Melbourne is mental.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Restaurants
I agree.
and the level of cafe
The culture.
that is just like everywhere, like
Yeah.
the baseline, I think seems to be higher.
Yeah.
100%.
Even just here, like I just tried to find a coffee this morning. I was like, no, yes, like I'm just picking,
Yeah.
just whatever. What do you think? Where is it restaurants? Is it everything, or is it just the Bay? Like what's bringing them here?
It's I think it's a combination of all of the above because there's some amazing food and coffee. Maybe not quite to the extent of Melbourne.
But where is that
Macleay Street?
Macleay
Street.
Okay.
But it's partially access to everything else, right? Because it's like okay, you can walk out your front door if you're living on Macleay Street, jump on a train at King's Cross, and you're at the beach in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Fair.
And
I
then
think it's more location of being kind of central to everything.
Yeah.
Like you've got the city,
Walk into
you've
the
got
CBD
the
in
Bondi
10 minutes.
Beach. That it's more
It's
location instead
and
of
access to it.
Yeah.
As a result,
Even the airport. Sorry,
Yeah.
but I couldn't.
how quick it was.
It's
Yeah,
so
like-
quick.
I've done Melbourne Airport into the city, and it's like a 45-hour minute.
So let's say if you come out of that freeway that everyone you get on into Melbourne and you just cover that through.
Yeah.
Our business is pretty much on the right and left of that freeway.
Yeah.
Like the whole way down.
Yeah.
But even still, like you feel like when you go to the airport, you're leaving.
Yeah.
You're leaving.
I know. Yeah.
Where here it was like even whenever I land in Sydney, you're like I'm kind of right above a building. I'm really central, and then everything feels really easy. So,
to get to.
but wouldn't that mean that you would just go somewhere that's cheaper if you've got access both ways?
But potentially, you miss out on the lifestyle aspect because you could go and live in say the suburbs. You might go out to the far western suburbs, which admittedly it's a big drive to get there. It's like probably 45-minute commute, similar to getting from Melbourne.
So we
Central
talk
there.
like Parramatta and
Yeah, go west. It's a different feel. It's a very, very different feel, and it's a different buyer, it's a different marketplace, right? Call a spade a spade. I think our job as agents is to understand the different economies within
100%.
Sydney, right? Like, okay, what's the appeal of living in Parramatta? What's the appeal of living in the inner city? What's the appeal of living in the inner west? But I think the connectivity of an inner west location, you just can't match it because you live in Parramatta. How are you going to get to the beach in 10 minutes?
Yeah, and that's Melbourne's the same. We've got our outer west. We've got in the inner north in Melbourne seems to be the highest. I reckon it's just appetite. There's just so much more movement. Melbourne's inner north is just constantly moving. Where we've got I think the relative to this is South Yarra, which is and I think but South Yarra has not. Like we've got Chapel Street, which is very similar to the Cross, our version of the Cross one. A little bit less gangsters.
Good stories.
Yeah, a little less story. There's still story. There's definitely still stories. Density seems to be really relevant to everything. It has a relevance to how our lifestyle has relevance to how we spend money, how what we're doing for work. Does buying in in Melbourne, if we look at a one, let's say this in Melbourne, this is probably worth. If this was in South Yarra, I don't think it would break 300.
Yeah,
because it's a studio.
Yeah.
So then some people would buy that, and my argument to help someone buy that would say, I know your parents and people around you are saying to buy a home that maybe appreciates more, but does this give you the freedom to take that job? Does it let you travel? Do you learn more that creates more revenue than what the property will? All right, well, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That'll give us plenty.
Hope
I might do a bit of a walkthrough.
Yeah,
if that's
please,
right.
100%.
That was awesome. How good was that? Really, really nice. Both of them were really, really nice. It's just so hard to set the camera up and properly talk, and then you get excited and you start talking, and then you forget that you have to film it, and now I don't even know if the angle was right. But this is their space. This is their area. They understand this joint back to front. They live here, they work here, and I'm trying to comprehend it And in trying to comprehend it, I'm relating it back to something that's relative to me and where I live, and I keep trying to find comparisons to connect the dots so that I can make sure that their answers sound like my answers. You know what I mean? But they gave me some streets that I'm gonna go look at because I've still got some time. So let's have a look here. 158 Victoria Terrace for sale, 383 square meters. Doesn't say. It'd be stupid. It's 3 levels, 5 bed, 5 bath. Doesn't say. All right, where am I going? Colette. I feel like in a lot of ways they reiterated what I was thinking. There wasn't a lot that I was surprised by. I know that there was always going to be difference with contracts and stuff like that. That was always interesting. I think the main thing that I find they confirmed, which I've felt like this whole time, was it doesn't seem like aesthetics is a driving factor. It's just placement. It's just where you are. Blair reiterated that when he said that, like, if people are renovating, they generally are restoring more than like reinventing. They're restoring the age and the culture and the history of the property. They're not trying to reinvent it. So, I mean, that changes renovations as well. Like, the whole process here would be, I can imagine, would be pretty full on. I'm bewildered by just that, yeah, it had a decent layout, but that joint was tiny. Like, tiny. The layout was good, but for that kind of money, what the fuck? That thing just scared the shit. Absolutely just scared the shit out of me. Oh, fuck. Spaniard, man, where are you? This is really cool. This is very South Yarra vibes. That is hectic. So nice here. The harbour just in there. So I think the only thing left to do is to go for a walk through the cross, see some brassies before we go home. So yeah, I think for me it's about kind of telling a little bit more about like what I do and how I've connected the dots and why this stuff's important to me. Whilst obviously ticking off some personal goals and getting to go to some cool places while doing it. Like, look at this, like, what a street. Darlinghurst, bro. Darlinghurst. Yes. I want to go in here. I'm going to go in here. BRB. And we move on. When I vocalize my thoughts, I feel like it'll help connect the dots for everyone else, and hopefully in doing that I can help people make some better decisions one way or another, or at the very least you can watch my YouTube channel and you can make fun of me. Darlinghurst is proper. I'm a fan. I could move to Sydney. I could move to Sydney if I could afford the real estate. I'd move to Sydney. The only problem, the MCG. I don't think I can be that far away from the MCG. I need to go watch the woods, mate. I need to go watch the woods every so often. Even when I don't go, I like the option of knowing that I can go. Alright? Watch Collingwood slap Carlton around here and there. Why not? I love the functionality of going from like front to back and understanding how people are going to live in it, where they need things. Like I really think about, okay, you need linen. Like, how big's the couch going to be, and where, like, you know, how do I tick as many boxes as possible for these people so that when they walk in, it works? That's what I really, really love. I want them to look cool, but I thoroughly enjoy the layout options and like the design and trying to squeeze in as much as I can into the layout without impacting the functionality. So if I can offer that service to people, or I can discuss that at length, and like, you know, also like I'm a student of like property and building, like I just want to keep learning about it. So like when I realized that I could separate myself from doing the work and I could still position myself to help people make decisions, I started, all my ideas started to say, oh, I could do a YouTube video, and I could start a YouTube channel, and I could do this and I could do that. And like, I don't want to take that for granted. I just want to keep like getting better and learning. And then, you know, 5, 10, 15 years from now, I've been doing this since I was 18, and like, who knows where it takes you. But now that I'm becoming an advocate and I'm pushing more into the consultancy space, and I'm not just doing that back of house, I'm actually pushing that front and center. It's important that people do know. And I would like to go to a dinner and people know what I do. I think sometimes, like if someone said to me back in, like even a year ago, what do you do? Oh, I'm a builder. I would just say that. Because like I'm not going to sit here and explain every element of what I do because it would be too complicated. I'm going to say I'm a builder, I'm an advocate, I'm a building consultant, we do developments. I mainly do units, but we do houses as well. What's your average sale price? So we do some units and this, we buy blocks. Like it's just too complicated. Like, alright, stop distracting me, yeah? I'm fucking trying to check my phone. 6:15 departing, so it's probably going to be like boarding 5:45, 4:30, so it's an hour and 15. I reckon I head back, get to King's Cross Station, jump on the train, head back, and then I'll have something to eat at the airport. Better get used to this. I've got a few places in Sydney that I need to go to. Oh, I don't know where I'm going. We've got to go to Central, get off, and then go to the airport. See, I'm a weapon now. I'm a full train guy. Look at that. Bang. So, I wonder if I could do this in Melbourne. I don't know, I think I'd like to change it up. We've got China, we've got all kinds of cool places coming up, which I'm excited to do. My fight kind of stopped me from doing a lot of cool stuff like this, because I was training so much, but I won, so it was worth it. But yeah, no, this has been really good. There's heaps coming up. A few questionable characters plotting around, so I think I want to put my camera away. Jump on the train, heading back to the airport, grabbing dinner, and I'm going home. This stuff's actually tiring, man. Like proper tiring, like I'm cooked. Just landed back in Melbourne, 7:30 PM. I'm pretty exhausted. Today was huge. Left for the airport at 6:30. And I'm getting home at 7:30, so I'm cooked. So yeah, I guess over there it's just a matter of like preserving that feel, that old feel. Not reinventing it, not going super edgy and going crazy. You get the money from restoring, you get that sale price from restoring its original glory.